Good morning. We're going to do a little Pilates session. This is mainly for my friends in Ibiza at the moment who are stuck on lockdown. So we're going to do a little bit of full body strengthening to get us moving a touch, get the blood pumping. And then I just want to do a little bit of stretching. It won't take too long. I'm just playing today. We're just going to make it up as we go along and make sure we get everywhere in. But whilst I'm doing this for our Ibiza United group, thank you, Zita, for that. Anybody is welcome to join in. So I apologise if when I stand up my head is cut off. I'm a little bit lanky, but try and stay with me. Anyway, we're going to start standing at the back of the mat. And there it goes. I just want to get the backs moving with a bit of a roll down to begin with. So we're going to stand with the feet about hip distance apart. Nice neutral spine, open out the chest and stand tall. We're going to take a deep breath in, chin on chest, pull your tummies in, and let's just relax those upper bodies as we roll forward. One vertebrae at a time. Have a little bit of bend in the knees, and I just want to start with a neck release. So if you just nod your head, give it a shake, swing those arms about a little bit, and then take a deep breath into the top of the rib cage. And exhale as you squeeze those core muscles and stack yourselves back up again. So we're just going to start with another couple of those to get moving. Deep breath in, chin to chest. Let's roll down again. Try not to stick your bums out too much. Have another little moment here. And at this point, I think I'll get rid of this because we're going to start getting warm in a second. Take a deep breath and stack back up again. Okay, we're going to add some bits this time. Sorry, my head's gone again. Breath in, chin to chest, rolling down, and then we're going to come out into a nice down dog position. So spread those fingers and toes wide, take tailbones up to the ceiling. Oh, it's a bit stiff this morning. And then have a little bit of a moment here, getting those stingy bits out the backs of your legs. Let your head just hang. Press your chest towards your knees and push your tailbone up to the ceiling. Okay, from here I'm just going to do a little bit of a movement into a high plank. Never let those hips sag down, it's bad for your back, and if you need to, you're welcome to pop your knees down here as well, but keep the tummies pulled in. Just hold that for a moment while you pull your shoulder blades towards your waistband. This is a Pilates plank, we're not messing about. Pull your belly button into your spine, squeeze your bums and press your heels away behind you. We're just going to take a couple of breaths here, in through the nose. And as you exhale, we're going to knit the rib cage down and together and pull those tummies right in. 2 more times. And if you grip the floor with your hands, that will make you work even harder. And then back into that down dog position. Take another moment there, just pedaling back out. Remember to really relax your neck. We're holding a lot of tension there at the moment. And then we're going to walk back into the bottom of our roll down position. Have another little bit of a loosen off. Take a breath. And exhale as we stack up again. Okay, I want to start getting a little bit warmer in the legs now, so we're going to roll down again. Chin to chest. Off we go. Back into down dog. And we're going to go with a little bit of hip mobility this time, so we're going to lift that right leg up, let it float nice and high. Try not to open out the hip here. I don't want to lift that right hip. Keep those level, and we're going to circle that 5 times, pointing the toes, keeping the leg nice and engaged. Trying to keep the body quite still. 5, and then the other direction. 3, really push your hands into the floor. 5, then let that one float back down. Left leg floats up. If you need to increase or decrease any of the numbers here, please feel free. Pause does work. 5, then the other leg. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pop that down, walk back into the bottom of that roll down position. Take a deep breath Exhale, stack up again, and give those shoulders a good roll. Okay, we should be feeling quite warm now, so let's get working properly. Palms to the front, open out those chests, make sure you're in neutral, deep breath in again, chin to chest, let's roll down again. This time I want to walk out into that plank position, let the right leg float up. This time open out the hips, so lift the right hip, bring your right heel to your butt cheek, and then we're going to take it through to between the hands. If it doesn't get there, pick it up and put it there, because we need this knee to be directly over that heel. If you need to take pressure off, put the back knee down, but otherwise press that left heel away. We're going to come up into this position. If you need to balance here, feel free. Otherwise, reach the fingertips right to the ceiling, keep your shoulders away from your ears, pull them down, press that left heel away, and breathe. Try to open out those hips to get rid of any stiffness in the lower back you might be feeling if you've been sitting a little bit more. And then we're going to take it into the chest a little bit, so take this left hand down, reach the right hand up, look towards the right hand if you can, but if it hurts your neck, just look down. So reach that up, twisting the torso around, still pressing that left heel away. Breathing into the rib cage, exhaling. Bring that right hand back down, pop that foot back, going back into down dog. Take a moment there if you'd like, and then the left leg will float up, hip opens out, take your heel to your bum, hold it there for a moment, and we're going to come through. Ooh, that was a bit of a cheat. Now again, you can put that knee back down if you want to, or press that right heel away. Come up, find your balance, really feel the sting in the front of this right hip, take the arms nice and high, reaching for the ceiling, pulling the shoulders down. Press that right heel away. And then when you're ready, right hand to the floor, left hand to the ceiling, looking up if you can, always pulling shoulders away from ears, pressing that right heel away to open out the right hip, just taking a couple of breaths. Pop that back down. We're going to take the foot away, knees down, and just take a moment there in child's pose, having a little rest out and stretching into that lower back a little bit. So just breathe, head to the floor if you can. You really want to be sitting on your heels here. If you're a little bit tight here, that might be hard, but if you can, right back into child's pose. Okay, so we're going to start with a little bit of gentle tummy work, and I want to begin with some half roll backs today. So you're just going to place your feet on the floor at the front of the mat. We want to keep these hip distance apart and keep the feet flat. Take hold of your knees to begin with to pull you back into a straight position, and we're just going to start very simply, arms out in front, take a breath in. As we exhale, pubic bone to navel, we're going to circle the spine, C-shape the spine, and then come back into a straight back position. So nice and simple to start with. The lower you go, the harder this will be, but please make sure you don't leave those shoulders behind. We want to keep those back and down. And you might need a little bit of padding here. I've just realized I'm on a tiled floor, so it's quite painful. Now we're going to add some movements in. So this time I'm going to reach back with my right hand, follow it with my eyes, and sit up straight again. So I'm stretching into the chest here and coming into a nice straight back position. So we should be starting to feel a little bit of heat coming into our stomachs. I'm going to do this another 3 times. And then this time I'm going to go all the way down, one vertebrae at a time with control. Take a little stretch out, and then we're going to start with some roll-ups next. So I'm going to squeeze my heels together. My feet are nice and flexed. You should be able to feel that engage your deep inner core here, pelvic floor, glutes, abs. I'm starting with my arms over my head, but feel free to pop them under your lower back if you need a little bit of help here. So I'm going to take a breath in as my arms float up and my chin tucks in, and then I'm rolling off the floor into a little stretch. And then again, I want to sit up nice and straight, take a breath, keep those feet working, and exhale as I curl my spine, not circle it, and roll back down again, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, so a couple more times here. Into a little stretch. Take a little bit longer there if you'd like. And up again. So breath in. And then I'm just going to take a second here, enjoying that stretch. If you can't reach your feet, just hold on to either your calves or your thighs here. If you find you're rolling your shoulders, I find just holding onto your thighs can be more helpful. Just looking forward, pressing your heart space forwards, and just feeling that stretch in the back of the legs there. Okay, so a little bit more stomach work to begin with. I'm going to bring my legs up into tabletop one at a time. Please don't bring your knees any closer than your hips. We want them just there. Press your backs into the floor, hands clasped behind your head. Now I'm going to start off with my head and shoulders on the mat, keeping my elbows wide, shoulders down. Take a breath in. As I exhale, I'm pushing that right leg away. It's really engaged. Don't bring it down here for now, just here is fine. Stomach should be engaged as well. Inhale as it comes back, but no closer than the knees. So we're going to do 6 of those. Imagine something's under your lower back and you're trying to crush it as you push that air out and really use your stomach to press down. Okay, we're going to bring those knees in and take a moment. If you're working really hard there, if you're really using the breathing, you should be a little bit tired after that, but don't worry if you haven't quite got it yet. It does take time. This time I'm going to add a little something extra in it for another 6. So I start with my head and shoulders on the floor, exactly the same thing, but I'm going to add a curl in my upper body. So I'm going to be sliding my rib cage down towards my pelvis to lift my head and shoulders. So breath in, keeping the elbows wide. Don't pull on your neck. Be sure not to bring those knees any closer than your hips. 2 more of these. And then give yourself a little moment. Okay, so for the next bit, I want to do a little bit of crisscross. So it's going to get into our obliques a touch and it's going to hurt a little bit more. So we're going to start in the same position. This time I'm actually going to have my head and shoulders off the floor. I take a breath. As I exhale, I'm pushing that right leg away in the same way and twisting my upper body to the left, pushing my right elbow to the ceiling. Inhale as I come through center. Exhale as I twist. Nice and engaged in the stomach while we exhale. 6 again. And then bring those in. Take a little moment. And then we're going to pop our feet on the floor. And we're going to loosen off with a couple of knee rolls. I'm going to start with nice and simple ones that's going to get the lower back moving. and get the body twisting a little bit. So arms out to the side, palms to ceiling, feet together, knees together. We're going to inhale as the knees drop to the left. We look to the right. Exhale as I pull them back to center. So inhale down. Keep the opposite shoulder blade on the mat. Exhale, center. Couple more of these. While I'm pushing my knees down to the left, I'm pressing my right knee diagonally away from me. And then if you want to spice this up a little bit and work a touch harder, I'm going to turn my palms to the floor, lift up into tabletop again, but knees and heels together. Inhaling, but keeping looking up at the ceiling this time, not so low that your shoulder blade comes up. Exhale as you come back to center. So 6 of these as well. Keep that 90-degree angle in your knee. If you do this, you are cheating. Now we're going to add another 2 on the end here. If you want to work harder, you can extend both of your legs, do it like that. Otherwise, just stay with what you were doing before. Let's make it 4. Okay, knees in. Pop the feet down one at a time, and we're just going to take a little stretch out here before we do 100 and then move on to a different area of the body. So we're going to do a half happy baby. I'm going to lengthen out my left leg, pointed toe, take hold of my right heel. I'd like it to be above my knee here, and just pull down on that as I push the left toes away. Just about 10 seconds here at this stage. If you can't hold your heel, just grab on here or behind your leg, just whatever works for you. But I'm just going to pull down into that, get a stretch down here, stretch in the front of this hip, and then I can take that down, push it away, and do the same on the other side. So pointing the toes of the right foot, flexing that foot on the left foot, and just holding that for about 10 seconds. Okay. All right, lastly, in this section, we're going to do the 100. Now you've got a few options here. So we can either come up into tabletop. If you have any head and neck problems, you can leave your head and shoulders on the floor. Otherwise, we're going to lift those up. My knees and heels are squeezed together, arms down by my sides. I'm inhaling for 5 pulses of the arms, and then exhaling for 5 pulses. I want to do that for 100. As I exhale, I'm squeezing the knees even more, really pulling pubic bone to navel, navel to spine, knitting my ribs down together. If you're able to keep your back on the floor and you want to work harder, you can push the legs out further, even take them lower. And if they're straight, you can turn those toes out, flex the feet, and really work into the inner thighs as well. So I'm going to go about halfway between here. Okay, we're halfway. And then at the end, I'm going to bring my knees in, roll into my lower back a little bit there, and remind myself I should do that more often. Okay, just have a little play out there. We're going to release that off. So if you just push your toes away from you, reach your fingers over your head, and if you take that middle finger there, push it away from you, and try and reach your middle fingers as far away from your big toes as you can, not scrunching your shoulders up to your ears, and just breathe into that for a moment, releasing off your tummies. Tummy should be nice and warm now, a little bit sore. Don't worry if you're not feeling it load straight away. When done properly, the breathing and Pilates alone, somebody's out. Should be really hard work, but if you don't get it straight away, it takes time. Pilates is hard. So stick with me. Now, we're going to come onto our sides and work into here, a little bit around the hips, a little bit into the sides of our bums, but we're going to start by lying down, resting my head. I want to be able to see my feet and I want them flexed. Now also I want a slight hinge in my hip there, and I want to press that hip away so that I've got space under the waist here. That's where the mouse lives. Don't kill the mouse. Space under the waist there, and a nice long waist. I want to imagine there's a skewer here as well, because we don't want those hips rolling about. So for now what we'll do is just pop this hand on the floor for support. I'm flexing my feet. I'm going to press my lower leg into the mat, and the upper is going to come up to about pelvis height. Now from here, if you can, put your hand there to stop your hip moving inwards again, but I'm just going to exhale as I lift without allowing that to happen. Inhale as I lower, nice and slow. Keep everything pulled in here. 4, and on 5 I'm going to pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to center, but not all the way down. You may well need the support this time. This time we're going to kick forwards. Try not to tuck the tailbone under. Inhale as you come back to center. Keep the tummy pulled in. Keep that mouse's house going on. 2 more here. The movement doesn't have to be big as long as you're keeping the body in the right position. So no tucking under. Number 5. And then pulse. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to center. This time, take it back. Keep the tummy pulled in so you don't arch in the lower back. Inhale, center. Keeping that space there. Inhale back, and on the last one, and pulse 2. And then to release, if you just bring that knee in, have a little rub there if you need to. And then we're going to move over onto the other side. So like I say, I'm keeping it low repetitions today, nice and easy. Please feel free to give feedback. If you want a good beating, let me know. I'm happy to help. If you'd like me to soften it up a bit or even do a bit of both, just say your wish is my command. Now, other side. So I'm resting my head. Please don't keep your head lifted up or you'll hurt your neck. I can see my feet. I want the mouse's house going on. I'm pressing my lower leg into the mat, lifting the upper, and we're going to do exactly the same thing again. So exhale, lift. Inhale down without killing the mouse. Keep the shoulders back. And last one here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to center and forwards, using the hand for support to stop the hips from wiggling about. And pulse. Back to center. Last one, so kick back. Keep the legs straight. Keep the mouse alive. And pulse. And then release. Okay, give that a little rub if you need to. And then we're going to stretch that out a touch. With a delightful little stretch. So feet and knees together. Take your arms out a little bit higher than your shoulders. Palms to ceiling. Keep the shoulder blades glued to the mat. Let those knees drop left as you look to the right, and I'm just going to extend that right leg and I'm just going to let it sit there, just relaxing. So just releasing off here. And this is a really nice way to open out the lower back for you as well. So if you bend the knee up a touch, take that other hand to it, keeping that shoulder blade down, and gently pull it down and across. If you want to take the stretch a bit more into your bum, you can just lift that knee higher. But I think this is a really nice opportunity to make some space here. So just pull that across, trying to twist the rib cage in this direction and the pelvis in that direction. I'm going to realign the knees, bring them back to center, pop that left hand back, knees to the right, look to the left, and I'm extending that left leg, just letting it sit there. If it helps you to rest that on something, feel free, but please keep the shoulder blade down. And then of course, if I want to make space in the lower back, and remember you can pause, you can stay in these stretches longer, but I'm going to bend that knee, take hold of it, and pull it down and across. And back to center. Okay, next we're going to do a little bit of work into the back of the body. We've opened out some of the areas. We've got so far into the stomachs, we've got into our sides, into our hips, into our glute medius. So we're going to work into back body now, and starting off on all fours. If you've got any knee difficulties here, you can of course put padding under here, but I'm just going to make this really, really simple today. Not too much balance. I think we're all feeling a little bit tender and perhaps a little bit sorry for ourselves. So we're just going to go nice and easy. So hands directly, or rather wrists directly below your shoulders, knees directly below your hips. We don't want to be here or here. We want a nice flat back. So pull those tummies in, knit the ribs up and together, and look at a point just in front of you there so that your neck is nice and straight. Shoulder blades to your waist, and get the feeling of putting pressure on those 4 points on the mat and getting ready to drag them in towards each other. You should feel that engage you even more. And from here, all I'm going to do is take a breath in. As I exhale, keeping everything else still, I'm going to press that right leg away to body height. I don't want to lift the hip or anything like that. I want to keep that nice and steady. From here, I'm going to circle that leg 6 times. Keep the tummy in and try not to arch the back as the leg lifts. 5, 6. I should be really reaching the toes away behind me to try and touch the wall at the back. 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to bring that knee back in. Make sure you pop it under the hip, because if you put it together with the other knee, you might keel over. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So, two. Nice, consistent speed circles. 6. Lengthening, keeping the leg engaged all the way down. If you're really tensing and lengthening, you should really feel this in the back of your leg and in your butt cheek as well. I've lost count. We'll call that 6. And then bring that back in. Now, we're going to go nice and simple on the next ones. So this time, if you can, we're going to add the arm in. So as I push the right leg away, I'm going to push the left arm away. And we're going to pulse those up. 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep those tummies pulled in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to center, breath in, exhale for the other side, tummy's pulled in and pulse, 10, 9, and back in again. Okay, take a moment sitting back in child's pose there. Really let your chest sink down towards your knees. Head to the floor if you can. And just take a moment. Have a little wiggle around if you need to. Whatever feels nice for your body is generally okay. And then we're going to come down onto our fronts. Now I'm going to go nice and simple here today. We're going to start off with a prone star. So as the title suggests, I'm going to starfish out like that. I'm popping my forehead down on the mat. I'm not going to do that just yet, so hopefully you can hear. I'm going to press my pubic bone and my hip bones down into the mat, and I'm pulling my tummy up like it's on a hot plate. Shoulder blades are pulled down, and I'm reaching away to those 4 corners there. So I take a breath in. As I exhale, sorry, there's a sofa in the way. Okay. As I exhale, I'm going to lift my left arm and right leg and my head, but I'm keeping a big double chin looking down. Inhale as I lengthen them away from each other, and exhale as I lower back down. So if you feel any pain in your lower back, you can do the same exercise, but keep your head on the mat. That'll take a bit of pressure off there. I'm going to do 2 more like this. 3 actually. And then for the last 4, if it's available to you, we can do all 4 at the same time. If that's not for you, just stick with what we've been doing. But otherwise, we're going to lift all 4 up, lengthen, and lower. Last one, and I'm going to stay here for a moment. And lower. Okay. From here, again, I'm going to press back into child's pose. Slightly different this time. I'm going to do wide knees. I'll face you actually. So, wide knees, feet together still. We'll start off in the middle here on the fingertips. So I'm gently pressing down through my armpits. You might feel a bit of that stretch going between the shoulder blades. Just be gentle with this one to start with. Relax into it. If you can relax your neck, that will help. And then we're going to walk over to the left. So my belly button's almost going over my left thigh. This is more about being away than to the left though. I want a nice stretch down this right side of the body. So I'm going to reach to my left with the right arm as I push this right hip back towards my heel. And have a little walk over to the other side and drop down into that. So I'm reaching my left hand over to my right and pushing my left butt cheek back to my left heel. And then back to center. Okay, moving into stretch world now. I just want to get those spines moving, see how fluid they actually are at the moment. We can tend to seize up if we're sitting about a lot. I know it's only been one day, but we may as well be ready. So, shoulder bridges, rolling shoulder bridges. I'm going to put my feet under my heels. Any knee pain, just take them away a little bit, but preferably feet under heels. I want heels, knees, hips and shoulders all aligned, and I want pubic bone and hip bones level. I don't need backs pressing into the floor, I just need you in neutral. So you should be able to balance a drink here. Now, arms are down by our sides. I'm going to go palms to ceiling to start with to keep the chest open. Now, I'm going to take a breath in. As I exhale, it's stomach first. So I'm using my tummy to pull pubic bone to navel, pressing my lower back down, and then peeling the spine up from bottom to top. And then take a breath into the rib cage. As I exhale, knit those ribs down and together, and we're trying to print your spine back down on the mat, one vertebrae at a time until we get all the way into neutral. I'm sorry, the light's messing around a bit at the moment. You may find sections of stiffness in your back here. That's fine. This will help get rid of those over time, but it's a really good way to see where you are at the moment. So breath in. Exhale as we press lower back down. Start to peel up from bottom to top. Breath in. And exhale as we roll back down again. Now, if you want to just stay nice and simple, you can stick with that. If you want to make it a touch more challenging, we're going to take the arms up and we're going to add some leg work. So breath in to prepare. Exhale as we press the lower back down and start to peel up just like we did before. And then, if it's available to you, I'm going to press my left toes up, flex the foot, exhale as it comes down, keeping the hips level, point the toe, inhale up again. You can put your arms down on the floor if you need to here. Exhale, point the toe, inhale, flex. One more like that. And then just to add some little cheeky bits for the butt cheek, flex that foot and pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring that down. And if you can, we're going to go straight in on the other side. So I'm pressing the foot up, flexing, keep the hips level, point, and lift. Two more. Remember, if this bit's too much for the back of the other leg, just stick with the original normal shoulder bridges. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I do 6? 5, 6. I think so. Breath in here. Exhale, tuck under and roll your back down all the way into neutral. And we're going to go into full puppy baby now, just to take a moment to stretch that out. So again, don't worry if you can't reach your heels, but try and get those knees down to your armpits and really flex those feet. So I'm just going to have a little moment here, scaring the neighbours. And then we're going to come into some nice stretches. So roll up into a seated position. And we're just going to go through, well, legs first. So we'll begin with the backs of the legs. Again, just keeping it simple today, no tricks. Turn the toes up, legs nice and straight. Take the arms high, lift as you inhale. And exhale as you lower down, holding on to wherever works for you. But I'd like us to breathe into this for a good 20 seconds or so. So just take your time. Visualize taking the air into the area of the body that you're stretching. And as you exhale, try and relax into it a fraction more. So telescoping the ribs upwards and forwards as you inhale. Exhale as we lower. I'm going to come onto my side to come into my quad. So I'm going to lie down again. I'm going to bring this front knee forwards a little bit, and I'm going to bring this heel to my butt cheek, to the middle of my butt cheek, and push this knee in that direction. I'm also tucking my tailbone under, and I'm getting that stretch up the front of that thigh. If you're a bit more well balanced, you can do this. And knees are together. Forgive me, I'm not putting much into this because my knees don't like this from this angle. I prefer to do it standing up, but it's nicer for you guys to be able to have a lie down. That's how kind I am. So about 20 seconds there. It's like disco lighting on here, doesn't it? And then we're just going to whip round and do the same on the other side. So again, remembering to rest your head, knee forward if you need it for the balance, but otherwise just here. Bring that heel in to the center of the butt cheek, tuck the tailbone under, press the knee away from you, and just feel that stretch there. Action in Calanova today. Okay, we're going to move into some neck stretches now. I'm going to get a bit closer. Better. Now, this is where we tend to hold all of our tension and our stress. So we're just going to do something very simple here that I like to do a lot in classes, very effective. It's really important that throughout you keep a nice straight spine here, but we're just going to stretch these parts of the neck around the back and the sides. So sit up really straight. If that's difficult for you in this position, just pop something underneath you, a cushion or whatever you've got to hand. But this straight back is important. We're going to put our hands by our sides, but we're not putting any weight through here. And I'm just going to gently take my left ear to my left shoulder while still looking ahead and walk those right fingers away. So I can feel that lovely stretch coming down here. If you're comfortable with it, if not, please leave it alone. This is your neck. But if you are, you can use that hand to assist you a little bit. And just breathe into that. And then if I can, I'm going to walk my right fingers back so I can feel that stretch come into here a little bit. I'm going to twist my head down towards my left armpit, taking the stretch into the back a little bit, and if I want that extra I can put my hand behind my head and assist that stretch, still keeping a straight back. And I'm just going to let that float up, or even give it a little hand, and do the same on the other side. So starting position, straight back, right ear to right shoulder, walk those left fingers away, feel the stretch, and then assist if needed. Always sitting really tall, pushing your bum down into the mat, pushing towards the ceiling. Of course, I'm going to walk the fingers back, get the stretch here as well, twist towards my right armpit, and then stretch into the back of the neck. Okay, next, into the stomach with a little bit of cobra. So I'm starting here, hands under my shoulders. I'm just going to lengthen and lift. If you don't want to come up further than this, that's fine, but if you can, we're coming to here. Keep the elbows tucked in and the shoulders down. This is the last thing we want after the stretch we've just done, so don't put too much pressure through there. Push your sternum upwards and forwards, and just breathe there for a moment. Gently lower. Now we're going to be coming up into a plank position, but we're not going to be staying here. It's just to get into the next stretch. So if you can, press your body up off the floor, but if that's difficult, just get here however works, and bring your left knee to your left hand. Lengthen that back foot out. Okay, press the hips level to the floor. If you're really high up here, don't worry, just put something under there for a bit of support, but we don't want to be tipping to the sides. Then again, if you can, forearms down, and you can always put your head down and reach away. But if that's not available, just stay here, maybe make fists and rest your head on there, but just rest into that. And then to add a little stretch for the front of the right hip, I'm going to tuck those right toes under, press that right heel way behind me, and clench into my right bum cheek. Pop that down. Up. Okay, we're going to do the other side. This is much tighter for me because I'm right-handed, so the likelihood it is for you too. Right knee to right hand. Push down again. Hips are level. You can see that's nowhere near as straight as the other one was, so that's something to work on during quarantine. And then come down again. If you're happy here, that's fine, or if you prefer to have the fists there, just keep the shoulders back and keep stress, tension out of them. And then of course, for that left hip, I'm going to tuck those toes under, press that heel away, clench into that left butt cheek. Okay. All right. From here, I'll face you actually. I'm just going to do a couple more stretches. So right hand behind my back. If you can, take hold with your hands, please do. But if that's difficult, just push that elbow up towards the ceiling. But we're just going to hold this one for a moment. Don't feel the need to kneel down. Again, if it hurts your knees, just have a seat however's comfortable. Go. Same on the other side. Again, if you're right-handed, this one will be much harder, so you do have the option here of pushing that elbow up. Okay, right. Bit. I'm going to come back to all fours, tuck the toes under and press up again into down dog, and I'm just going to take a moment here just pedaling out. And then we're walking back. A little bit of bend in those knees again, but let's just take a moment. Take hold of your elbows in your hands. Give those a bit of a swing. Nod and shake your head again. Just make sure you're nice and loose. Let those hands go. Take a deep breath and exhale as you stack up again, and I'm cut off again. So again, thank you for joining, and if there are any requests, please feel free to ask. I'm here doing nothing, so yeah, just let me know what you need, and you can find more on the Pilates Rebel page.